Oh. Alrighty. Alrighty, so make sure we're paying attention to health bars in that last fight. Or I guess I'll talk after this.
He was he had Anna debuff on.
Yeah, but the thing is, when we see that he's low like that, when he does have the debuff on him, what we want to do is we just want to make sure that we're keeping our crosshair on him, and then that way, as soon as the debuff goes away, we're able to heal him. And then the second thing was to pay attention to the Ana's health bar, because Ana was also 1 HP, and that is a very easy kill that we can look to clean up, right? So just make sure we're paying attention to those, and then that way we can look to finish him off. Good job tracking on Mercy there. Alrighty, try to, when we're looking for damage on kind of them, make sure that we're keeping in mind target priorities as well, right? So try not to focus on ball too much, because he's going to be very difficult for you to kill. And when we're looking for damage, actively be slightly more aggressive, right? Just push forward slightly, look to put yourself in a position to where you can damage, rather than just kind of sitting in place. And then that way we can look to kill people, especially when they're low HP, right? When you're trying to kill somebody who's low HP, we can look to get slightly more aggressive, and then we can fade back to our team. We can walk backwards behind cover.
Golden damage, healing, kills, and eliminations.
Yep.
Which says more about my team than me.
I'm restoring him. Youth is wasted on the young. The objective is now active. The enemies have fallen. This is my will.
Activating shield.
Repairing the damage.
Right, make sure you're looking around a little bit more, as we do seem to have a lack of paying attention to when teammates are critical. So when teammates are critical, make sure we're on top of them. So for example, Monkey there, right, when he's walking forwards, we didn't really see him until he turned the corner. So make sure we're paying attention to when they're critical so we can get on them faster with the healing.
This will heal you. Surrender to my will.
Alright, make sure we're watching kill feed before we're going for our ult, as well as the fact that Monkey was still critical on our left, right? So we got to make sure we're being aware of our surroundings, especially our teammates. I think we're really aware of the enemy team right now, but we're slightly lacking when it comes to knowing what our team's doing. So make sure we're paying attention to our team's health bars, paying attention to when they're critical, and looking around and not tunnel visioning on what's just in front of us. Oh, good awareness of the Tracer.
I'm restored.
Alrighty, there, a little bit out in the open with our positioning, and if you're looking to get to the health pack or whatnot, look to use a fade rather than just walking across, because you don't want to be out in the open for too long, right? We've talked about positioning before. Good positioning is the use of the cover. So if we're trying to cross an open area when we have a bunch of people looking at us, then it might be a good idea to try to fade across. Now
Alrighty.
as well with those last 2 points. So on both of those points, we didn't end up contesting at the end there. So if you have fade available and the point's about to see, it's about to cap, right? The round's about to end, and you can see nobody's about to touch. Go for the touch yourself, and then that way you can maybe extend the time just a little bit longer. No, you don't always want, like, if you see that anybody else, right, literally anybody else, right, if anybody else can touch the point, then let them touch, and then that way we have a little bit more survivability. But if we see that nobody on our team is going to be able to touch point, we want to go touch, and then that way we can stall out for time. And it's going to be we're most likely going to lose the fight, but even if we win every 100th fight, if we win every one in every 50 fights like that, right? That's still more value, because that will be an extra fight, one in every 50 fights, which
Okay.
thinking about it is only like that means that you're winning an extra 1 out of 25 games, or one in whatnot, right? If you're having two rounds a game or whatever. So just consider that if the round's about to end, just go and jump on point if nobody else can.
Okay.
Traveling to Havana.
Oh, I should select my hero.
Well, I suppose I'll be patching you up, as usual.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
I can't wait to get into the fight. Think you can keep up with me?
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming is my will. Stop the payload. Allow me.
Please stay close to me.
Your strength ebbs.
Alrighty, make sure not focusing too much on ball, as he is going to be very difficult to kill with the amount of health that he has. So the only times we want to be on him for too long is if our whole team is killing him, and then we can chip in.
Allow me to repair the damage.
It's good job paying attention to your Orisa there.
Where does it hurt?
Alright, the other thing we could have potentially done there is maybe try to wait and then throw an orb in through the window, right? A healing orb to heal him.
Help me.
Oh. Alrighty, tunnel vision a little, yeah, tunnel vision a little bit there on the healing to where we weren't damaging, so we were low on the resource, and then we also didn't notice the mines, so just pay attention, make sure you're keeping your ears and eyes open and what's happening around you. So far, the biggest issue that we're seeing is our awareness of what's going on around us.
Surrender to my will. My power grows.
Alrighty, so do you think that coalescence is, I guess, that was maximum value out of your coalescence to get one single kill out of it?
No.
Yeah, so in the future, maybe we could probably just end up killing her normally if we just use a right click on her, because she was pretty far out of position. She didn't have her team with her, right? We broke teleport, so she couldn't get away. So just all things to keep in mind.
Regenerating your cellular structure.
Okay, good awareness of the ball and your usage of fade. I think our Fade usage has been pretty good so far. Very nice.
You seem in need of aid. This will restore you. This is my will.
Best head for the hills. Step right up. Denied.
All good lugging. Get into position.
Thanks.
Reinvert Boher.
Easy.
Coin the Delayish. Your power is mine. The power of destruction.
Activating shield.
Regenerating your cellular structure.
It's where they're not doing anything. They're way behind. Do I save my coalescence or do I use it to stagger them more?
Well, you could probably just save it for when the fight actually starts, right? Because I probably say like you want to use it for when they're actually coming in with a bunch of ultimates. Now if you wanted to use it just to get a pay. Oh, that's my bad for talking, but remember the fade. Because you probably want to use it when they're all actually coming in as a big group. If they're trickling in one by one, we can probably kill them normally without the usage of an ultimate.
60 seconds remaining.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Allow me to repair the damage.
All systems checked out. What's up the base? I'm back in the fight.
We seem in need of aid. Surrender to my will.
Remember to throw an orb before you're using coalescence. That way you get kind of maximum value out of it.
30 seconds remaining.
No one can hide from
Tell
my
me how this
sight.
feels. I cast this forth.
Step right.
Restore it.
Get behind the bar.
10 seconds remaining. Get into position.
Standing my way.
Go through a
Heroes
bloody
never die.
overtime.
You are advised to look behind my back.
I am
Get through
optimized.
this. I recommend moving behind. Healing stream engaged.
This will restore you.
Mecha
Shield
activated.
engaged.
Game on.
Your strength fades.
My ultimate supercharger powering up. Enemy spotted.
Don't move.
My will made real.
Barrier activated.
Join the Yeshu. This is going to hurt. Surrender to my will.
Alrighty, remember to throw an orb again. With the ball, instead of just keeping a crosshair in one spot, look to track him, right? If he's going in a predictable direction, he's just going right, left, right, left, right, left. So when he's coming around, we know he's coming from the right side, so start on the right, drag your crosshair left. Start on the right, drag your crosshair left, right? We kind of keep our crosshair straight in the middle, and that means we're only damaging him for about half a second. Instead, we want to look to track him and track him along the whole angle. So far, it actually looks like we're playing very well. We have decent, we're getting good usage out of like kind of when we're using our healing. When we're using good orbs, we have pretty decent fades. Probably say the biggest thing so far is that we're a little low on our awareness and knowing what's going on around us. And I don't know if we've had many talks about awareness. Has awareness been something that we've gone
Just
in
not
depth
good at
on?
it.
Will you say that again?
I said we have. I'm just not good at it.
Yeah, so that's probably says the main should be the main priority focus for you now, is to make sure you're paying attention to what's going on around you. As two of our deaths there, or the only two deaths that we had there, were just because we didn't see or hear the mines, and then we ended up dying the mines. Then besides that, we've let a few people die in the past couple of games because we didn't see them when they were critical. And then, besides that, those are really the big two mistakes that we've been making. Honestly, it's looking like you're doing very well, then the game maybe just hasn't placed you in a since you haven't played enough yet, the game hasn't started to put you at a higher MMR. So you're kind of rolling your surroundings right now. You're kind of better than the other players in your lobbies. And so because there isn't as much of a challenge and you're winning these games, there's not as much to actually, see when when mistakes aren't punished. It's really difficult to point them out to you, right? Like, because I can say,
Sure.
you're standing in a bad position, but unless you're getting, sniped and by an enemy Widowmaker and then dying, like it's very difficult for you to be able to see it and go, oh wow, that was a bad spot, right? Um,
How do I practice my awareness?
how do you practice your awareness? Mainly whenever you're practicing anything, it comes down to focusing on the thing you're trying to practice on. So no autopiloting. So while you're playing, like the best way to not improve is to autopilot while you play. But
Okay.
when you're trying to improve, you're going throughout your game and you're thinking, okay, I need to look around, I need to look around, right? Look left, look right, right? So you're reminding yourself over and over and over again. Okay, look around, look around. Do I see any people, but anybody critical? Where's the enemy players at, right? Where's my team at? Okay, we're thinking, are we in danger, right? So we need to be just basically over and over and over and over again, be reminding ourselves to be aware of our surroundings and to look around. And then eventually, if we're doing that enough consciously, it'll become a habit to where now we can do it without having to make it a conscious thought, right? It's almost it's a habit now, so we don't have to put as much brain power into it. So that's gonna apply to anything that we're trying to make. When we're trying to fix our gameplay, is where
Now
essentially we
entering.
concentrate on it while we play until it becomes habit, until it becomes part of our gameplay. Okay, pay attention to your health bar here. All right, you need to be requesting healing or throwing in heal orb for yourself. Right now, we need to get a resource back up as we don't have anything. Might Right now we need to be damaging, right? Because we don't have any resource at all. So we need to just push forward slightly more. Right, get up next to the statue if you can. Even if we need to fade up. I mean, probably look at the Colossus stat, yeah. Focus the brig, right? Good awareness, good audio awareness. Alrighty, remember priority targets, right? When we're looking at things to damage with Coalescence, we're trying to shoot the things that are easiest to kill. So shooting a tank, not going to be real easy to kill. They have a ton of HP. They have things that can, they have tanking abilities that can stop your damage. So look to get to the easier targets who also a lot of the times will have more value.
See the brig, honestly? I like after you said that, I looked for her. I just didn't see her.
Oh, she had died like pretty much as soon as I said it.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so you guys are still even. Good pocket. Oh. Make sure that when you hear that Sigma ult that you're looking to just back up a little bit, right? Try to spread yourself out from your teammates, and when you see it activating, try to run out of it, right? Don't stand still because there
Yeah,
is
I was waiting for my fade, but it didn't. Can
Yep.
you get out of the red wallet?
Yeah, while in fade, but it was on a cooldown, right? So if you had fade
Right.
available, then you can go for fade. But it's because you didn't have fade available. That's why the best course of action would have been to try to run away. Right, there's a teammate around you and he's critical, right? Look around, look around. I need to look up.
Where?
Alright. Lost our mech, right? So
I'm gonna be able to get to her right there.
oh, you throw orb up into the room. right? She was in the doorway, so that was also we were also able to heal her from there.
Turret is no more. Tell me how this feels. This is my will.
I've got you covered.
Unfortunate.
Activating self-destruct sequence.
Looks like that was a no-win situation with the lava and the mines.
Kill.
Yep. Sometimes they just throw a bunch of ults at you.
That was a lot of explosions. Yes, it was.
You seem in need of aid. A touch from afar. Surrender to my will.
Get a little bit more aggro with it, right? If you can't see any bit of damage, just go forward further.
Well, on that one.
This
Oh, you had you cut out with what you said.
Heal more on that one.
But when people aren't critical and in need of healing, right? Remember, we go for the damage, right? So no one on our team was being ulted, and the enemy team wasn't even really looking to peek and damage our team. So when we don't need it for healing, that's where we will look to push in and damage. Alrighty, unfortunate trap.
I have big plans for you.
Flow like water. My ultimate is ready.
Good tap heals.
I will rebuild you.
Nope. Right. Think about who's in the most danger, right? Ryan's all the way up in the front. Most of the time, he's gonna be the one in the most amount of danger because he's gonna be taking the most damage. So, you see Reinhardt super far forwards, and he ends up getting mined. Then he's probably gonna be taking a bunch of damage very soon. So we should look to have our crosshair on top of him before he takes the damage, so we can heal him when he does take the damage.
Allow me to repair the damage. Make them
No, good job walking out of it. Alrighty. There we kind of try to backtrack through open space. Remember, cover usage. If it's probably be better if you just stayed with your Reinhardt and tried to stay on top of him and stay behind cover than to try to run back through open areas, because then that means that they can just melt you very easily.
get into position.
Probably don't go back in there, right? Pay attention to how many people on your team you have alive. If there's only one person in there, don't suicide to go get them. So good choice to stay back there.
The damage.
Now Reinhardt, now we have two people. We can look to heal Ryan out here. Right, because he's also backing up.
I require assistance.
Activating
Yeah, probably look to use Cole soon.
Surrender to my will.
Tactical visor activated.
Push a little bit more aggro. Aggro.
Enemy turret destroyed. Don't worry, my friend. I am your shield. Enemy turret ahead.
30 seconds remaining. Get into position. Restoring you.
Alrighty, try to keep your ears open. It is a little bit inconsistent. Sometimes we do have good audio awareness, and you know
I just didn't see where it was coming from.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the audio awareness, right? You're hearing it, and then when we're here, we want to look around us, right? So sometimes we hear that, and like so for example, the other game had somebody who requested healing. They were behind us, and we pretty much instantaneously, or I think it was this at the very beginning of this game, right? We instantaneously turned around and knew it was Hanzo who needed healing, right? So we turned around and we healed him. So when we're hearing sounds, make sure you're paying attention to which direction it's coming from, and if you don't know where it's coming from, then make sure you're looking around, frantically trying to look for where it's coming from. Now I'll probably say one of the bigger things this game was our healing, and a lot of the time with our, especially, I think we did good when it came to our primary healing, right? So our regular healing and our regular damage, but when it came, oh, sorry, I just got an Amber Alert.
Yeah, like wow.
Um, So, sorry, back to my topic. So our regular primary and healing and damage are fine, but I think that when it comes to our orbs and our coalescence, we're slacking a little bit when it comes to when we're using each, of when we're healing, when we're damaging. Remember, the same exact principles apply to our coalescence and our orbs. If healing isn't necessary with it, then look for the damage instead, right? You don't want to suicide in, but we can look to get a little bit more aggressive, especially with our coalescence. We can look to get more aggressive with our coal when nobody on our team needs healing, because we have extra movement speed, we have self healing, right? So we can look to get away with a little bit more and get a little bit more aggressive if nobody on our team is critical and about to die, right? Nobody is in need of the healing. Same with our healing orbs and our damage orbs, right? Make sure that you're paying attention to health bars of people. We have talked about this in the past of, don't throw healing orbs if, nobody's critical, if nobody's or sorry, let me rephrase this. We're throwing healing orbs when people are critical, when someone's too far away to heal, when we need healing ourselves, right? When maybe we have our ultimate already. But when none of those are checked off, we want to be throwing damage orbs instead. And sometimes I'll notice that we're throwing some orbs in the wrong scenarios, especially healing orbs. I think are the big ones. We'll toss out healing orbs when everyone on our team's full HP. When we're kind of at the very beginning of fights before anybody's taken damage. So we want to make sure we're looking to use our orbs and our coalescence with the right timing of our damage and healing.
Okay, I
Oh,
can work on that.
alrighty, so probably look to go ahead and get into another game here.
I think I'm gonna do a competitive.
All right, sounds good. You're gonna need to stream it in that case because I cannot spectate that.
All right. How do I do that?
So over Discord, basically there's just a share your screen button that should give you an option for Overwatch. Let me know if it does not give you an option for Overwatch.
Yep. 1 second. 1 second.
Mhm.
It. The problem is
Mhm.
it won't let me select it because it's there, but then when I
It's minimized.
minimize the screen to go
Yeah.
over,
Yeah, I've had
it
I can
goes
explain,
away.
right? I do a ton of people have that same problem.
Okay.
So you can basically the thing that you can do is just put it into windowed mode,
Okay.
stream, and then you can go back and put it into full screen.
Okay. Window. My screen. Overwatch. Go live. Full
Alrighty.
screen. Apply.
Oh, running a little bit late. Yep, I can see.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Be careful out there.
What, they're really far.
Right now we want to be looking to position up in the best place possible, so it's probably going to be top right where Reinhardt's at, but most of our team's on point now.
Is it that the best position for Ryan, or is he just
No,
waiting for
he's in the best position, but
Oh, okay.
but right now since our whole team's here, we want to be with them.
This is my grave.
Right. Oh, make sure when we're feeding behind cover, right? Not out into the open, because then that means that they get to shoot us all the easier, and we don't have our ability to get away. So fade behind cart, fade behind the. Oh, what's that sound with the point? Can you change the point sound? Sounds really weird. Yeah, just make sure fading behind cover.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Make sure throwing in damage orbs.
Is your point sound different?
Yes, it does. When you're
Huh.
when you're capping point. I've actually never heard it like that in like any videos I've watched. That's interesting. Maybe it's the stream distorting it. Distorting.
Heroes never die.
Into the iris.
Tossing orbs. We're backing out to the right here. Okay, so there we backed up a little bit slowly, right? We have shift available. Just look to back up as fast as possible as soon as you see that you're losing the fight. We lagged a little bit behind our Reinhardt. We walked to the left rather than the right. All right, if we walk to the right, that gives us more room to back up. Left kind of just corners us and makes it easy for them to kill us.
Surrender to my will. This will improve your condition.
Yeah, you're up healing your Ryan up.
Heroes never die.
Make sure remembering to toss in damage orbs right in between these fights. Right now we need to get damage in so that we can get a resource back. All right, again, we're a little bit hesitating on our backup, right? Remember, when we lose fights, we look to get out if we can, or we look to die as fast as possible. Us, twice in a row, we're hesitating on our backup, and that means that we end up dying both times, right?
Be afraid to retreat.
Yep, don't be afraid to retreat, right?
Okay. That's
Because,
something I don't do very often, so that's something I should work on.
yep, we have talked about how to know when what fights are won and lost, right?
We have. I just don't. I don't know if we've ever talked about like full retreats or anything
Yeah.
like that.
So when
I didn't know I was supposed to do that actually, and I don't think I've. And I vaguely remember about dying quickly, but I don't think
Yeah.
we've gone into detail
So
about that.
yeah, well, so why don't we go into detail on that right now? So when fights are lost, right?
Okay.
If you stay in the fight longer and try to stay alive, or you try to back up, but you don't really back up. You're just you're just staying alive a little bit longer. Then what that does is that's called a stagger, right? Now that wastes time because now you're respawning later than your team, and either one of two things happen. Either now they have to wait for you to come in as a full 6 people, or they're gonna go in without you or any of your other teammates who also staggered, and then that means that now they are not going to have a full 6 people when they're going in, right? So they're already going in at a disadvantage. So when we lose fights, we don't want to stagger ourselves. We want to die we off. If we think that we can get out, try to get out. But you don't want to stay in there a little bit, because then what happens is, you saw twice in a row, we ended up dying late, which is very bad for you, right? Because that means that they end up capping points and you don't get fights as a full team. right? But if we don't think that we can get out, then you just want to let them kill you so that you can respawn with your team. Right? The big thing about it is you're just trying to get more full team fights in. Yeah, you gotta look for the damage. Alrighty, so at the very beginning of that fight engagement, we ended up wasting a lot of our healing, and we didn't have as much damage as we could have out, which meant that we ended up running out of resources very fast, right? So make sure that we're whenever somebody's not in immediate danger of being critical, we're adding in damage and looking for damage so that we don't run out of resources.
Yeah, honestly, I got overwhelmed with the critical Bastion and the critical Mercy. I'm like, oh crap, oh crap! Whoa!
Righty, watch your health. When we're lower on the HP, throw a heal orb for yourself. Right, we don't want to stay low because then something like that ends up happening. Right, and then we get a fire strike through shields. So when we're down 100 HP, try to pay attention to your health bar, and then throw an orb if you need to.
Yeah, I
Or
really did that.
yep. Or if you need to, also another thing that you can do is look for health packs or request healing from your other support.
That was wrong orb.
Yep. Probably look at combo coalescence with that, right? When you see Sigma floating them all up. Ooh. I like how we turn around after our fade there. Alrighty. So, what we just did there was exactly what we were talking about before. It's called staggering. Now, they can't punish it because they're also silver. They didn't punish it nearly as fast as someone higher ranked would, right? If they were gold, if they were platinum, they would come after you and they would kill you very fast. But essentially, that means that we're in a super bad position where we can't help our team when they're coming in, and we end up dying before our team is even in the fight, which means that they have to wait for us or they're going to go in without us, right? So we want to make sure that we're dying faster there. We can jump off the map if we need to, so that we can group up and go in as a full team.
This is such a bad place.
Alrighty, yep. So big thing in that game was a lot of staggering and then especially on the defense. We ended up not getting too many fights in, right? So typically on payload points, right, you get roughly 2 fights in unless you end up staggering. Because we staggered, we only got really 1 fight in per point instead of 2 fights. So really make sure that when you see that, oh, my entire team's dead, you try to get out or you're trying to let them kill you. That way that you can go in as a full team more often. Now, when also on top of that, in the fight before, or the kind of the second to last fight there, when your Sigma used Flux, make sure that we were looking to combo Coalescence with it as often as possible. We want to be looking to combo ultimates, and then that will get more value out of them. So if Sigma fluxes them all up in the air, makes it super easy to coalescence them, and then once they get slammed, they're all going to be low HP and they're going to be trying to run away. And our coalescence can help clean them up super easily because we can hit them through shields. Now we can also do that with a shatter. We can also do that with a grab, right? Just make sure that we're looking to use our ultimate a little bit faster in that fight. Oh, I think he accidentally left. Sienna rejoin.
Oh, cool.
Alrighty.
Didn't know you could do that.
So I see you stop streaming. So is that meaning you want to go back to Quick Play? Oh, you're a bit quiet, or you're cutting out with your mic again.